All righty. Good morning to everybody, except for Los Angeles Dodgers fans. Brutal, heartbreaking loss last night, but we are flushing it. We are talking about football. I don't even want to talk about the baseball game. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, let's get into it, Danny, because we got a couple things to talk about for sure. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people in the chat wondering, what do I do with Kareem Hunt, Kyle Menengai, Trevion Henderson, like there's
Bam Knight.
Yeah, Bam Knight. There's a bunch of like my RB, I think it's like RB 14 or 15 through like RB 21. Like every single one of these guys was like not a startable asset a week ago. Like Kareem Hunt, RB 15,
I'm taking it a step further.
Menengai 16, Tyrone Tracy 17, Trevion Henderson 18, Bam Knight 20, 21, Rico Dowdle.
We might have to do something in regards to Menengai because I have him as a top 12 running back this week.
I mean, I have him at 16. I feel pretty good about him.
Yeah, like I was looking at his projection over on Underdog. He's got like a top 5 running back rushing plus receiving yards projection. And I was looking at because I have his touchdown in my pick'em entry this week, and it was actually like 0.9x on the entry. So like it basically he's expected to score. So hopefully for E's sake, I'm able to get the Menengai spike in my home league.
Yeah, I wish I could take it back when I said this 2 weeks ago, where I was like, there's no zero RB chaos happening right now. And now a shit ton of zero RB chaos is happening. Yeah, we got a team review from Ralph, and then we got about, 40 or 50 questions or so. As we talked about on Thursday's video, on Thursday's live stream, hammer the like button. If we get this to 75 likes, and we might adjust that down to 60 like we did last time, if not enough people are filling in here. If we get this to 75 likes, we will give away a ton of free start sit and trade questions. So make sure you guys hammer the like button on the stream. And of course, make sure you're subscribed as well. But let's get it kicked off here. We got Ralph with a team review. He said first year of this league and needs some direction. Traded T-Mac and 2 1s, 26 and 28 for Jamar Chase, which I think is a pretty good deal in a vacuum. Traded London and Golden for Lamb, which is a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
Need 2 running backs badly, but nobody's biting. Worthy and Hunter are zeros to my league mates, who are some guys I should target and who I should give up. Should I be willing to trade more picks? Okay, so, I mean, the shell of this squad is looking dangerous, man. You got 2 of the best dynasty quarterbacks you could possibly have. And of course, you also have Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Hunter, and Worthy and Downs, and those guys to build around. You have a young tight end with Colson Loveland, some decent backup tight end options that I think you can get by with. Like realistically, like you said, the only position you're weak at is running back, and running back 2 specifically. My thought process is this: you're 4-4 right now. I don't think you're winning this league. Like you're not going to win this league this year, at least without not selling a bunch of picks off or whatever. I guess the challenging thing though is that you don't have your 2026 one. So if you could, I would still be willing to sell Travis Etienne at this point in time, if for somebody else's first round pick or something like that. But then the challenging thing is that you're tanking your own pick for the guy who you traded. I'm assuming you gave it away in the Jamar deal with T-Mac.
Yeah, and that's probably what ended up happening. Which again, I still don't mind the deal. I mean, Jamar Chase, obviously such a needle moving player. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this shell here. Colson Loveland, he's your tight end 8. I have him higher in Dynasty, so I'd have your tight end ranking higher than that. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Hunter, Xavier Worthy, long-term, clearly the best wide receiver core in the league. And I mean, nobody's going to touch your quarterbacks anytime soon. You have 2 top 5 overall startup assets, in my opinion. And quite frankly, the startup asset number 1 and 2. That's how I have it ranked right now. Drake May, Josh Allen, my literal 101 and 102 in startup. So overall, I'm looking at this team. You have 4 first-round startup type of players here with the 2 quarterbacks and the 2 wide receivers. I understand that maybe, okay, I don't have my first, kind of annoying. But knowing that you have that structured long term, if you could just replenish with guys like ETN, guys like Bam Knight, guys like that who are kind of, spiking up for, immediate production for those of the teams that are maybe 6-2, 7-1 in that type of position. If you can liquidate those assets, I understand it sucks that you don't have your first and you can't benefit off of it. But this is the type of team that come next year when everybody's fully healthy, when Hunter has his knee intact, when maybe Xavier Worthy doesn't have, a shoulder injury he's been playing through. Obviously, Chase and Lamb, they're going to be studs in your lineup. Like, to me, if you can structure this where you can punt this year, get liquidity, and be able to address the running back position in the offseason, It seems counterintuitive without your first, but I also think it's the more optimal approach because, quite frankly, you just don't have the liquidity to be able to buy patchwork running backs right now.
Yeah, obviously, I think in a vacuum, both the trades you did were great. T-Mac and the 2-1s for Jamar, great value. Golden and London for Lamb, great value. It's just that it would have maybe been a little bit easier to rebuild in a 1-year kind of turnaround if you still had your one. Like specifically the London and Golden deal, that's totally chill. You want to go get CeeDee Lamb for that. That doesn't really affect your thing. But the Jamar deal, like giving up the pick liquidity is a little bit challenging because now it's really going to be difficult for you to replenish your running back position. And let's say like of your entire running back core, there's one future starter here for you. Like maybe 2 to 3 years down the road, Giddens or Sampson or one of those guys becomes a starter for you. My question, I guess, would be like, how are you getting your other starters? How are you getting your hammers at the running back position? Because as of right now, your only real options would be like to tier down from elite assets, which I don't really like doing. Like, I don't want to have to, let's say 2 years down the road, you haven't been able to replenish your running back core. And you're like, well, I got to sell Drake May for like a worse quarterback and 2 running backs or something like that. I would much rather have the pick liquidity and the assets to be able to do it. So I guess at this point for me, what my mindset would be shed off non-consequential assets for as many second and third round picks as you possibly can. Because you're not going to probably get ones for outside of maybe Travis Etienne. If the Jags come out swinging and really running the football well after this bye week, maybe you could sell Travis Etienne for a 1. But like anybody that pops up with short-term value, you're probably going to be looking to cash out on at this point in time.
Cam Knight might have a big spike week. He goes up against Dallas. We're hearing good reports that apparently he's going to be the first back to get the crack at the workload. Not sure if you saw that quote from Gannon, but he basically implied like, yeah, these guys are all going to have their roles, but the first guy out there is going to be Bam. To me, what that screams is we saw, for example, Gannon chewing out Dean Mercado after he fumbled the ball in the 1-yard line. We saw, for example, Michael Carter got released to the practice squad, got reactivated for this game. To me, it's pretty clear in terms of the trust level in this backfield. It's the guy that's the no nonsense between the tackles guy for an old school head coach.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think what he said, I'm debating trading my other picks. I mean, I would not like sell my picks to go all in at this time. Like what I would probably rather do, like, again, I don't want to tier down from a CeeDee Lamb or a Jamar Chase, but like you also got those guys for like, let's say 90 cents on the dollar in the trades that you got. Like there's no law saying that because you paid London and Golden for Lamb, if somebody offered you BTJ and 3 1s, you wouldn't at least consider doing something like that. Like, exactly. But yeah, I guess replenishing pick liquidity should be your number one goal right now. You are not going to win the championship this year, like just full flat out. You're just not. I can't imagine with this running back core. So I probably wouldn't force things and try and sell like your 27-1 to go get Josh Jacobs or something like that. To me, it probably would be a lot more prudent to just stick it out and try and shed production where possible and replenish your draft capital. Maybe aim for that. Like if people don't want to give you 2026 picks, maybe aim for that 2027 class, try and stack up a couple of 1s in there.
By the way, semi-breaking news, 13 minutes ago, I'm not sure if you saw this. Terry McLaurin not expected to play week 10, and
I did see it,
it's looking very possible he'll be held out through the week 12 bye. So
yeah, that's not great news for Terry McLaurin drafters. It is great news for you and I, who were adamantly non-Terry McLaurin drafters.
Well, for as positive as that is for our portfolio, my portfolio is already in shambles after that Hunter fucking
and I know you think that I hate Hunter because, and of course I told you it was happening. I can't even sign into my underdog account because my fucking password chains just got like deleted for some reason on my PC.
That genuinely was one of the most depressing fucking tweets I've ever seen. Like seriously, I was on the way driving to my haircut. And obviously keep in mind, like we saw he was limited in practice, but limited in fucking practice can mean anything. Did he fucking fall?
Tyler Algier got downgraded to limited and wasn't even on the injury report.
And then we find I'm going to say it right now, Corey, I don't want to issue anything that maybe isn't there, but based off everything I'm fucking reading, I think it's a meniscal tear.
I hope not. Like what Trey Benson has?
Trey Benson's injury, 4 to 6 week recovery, but could linger. And as a young player, they're not going to rush him. Like they spent way too much in terms of capital to be able to rush him. So
no, of course not.
I guess this is my way of saying and my way of telling you guys that I don't expect him to be back this year. I don't expect him to be back in the regular season. And Corey knows what I'm kind of alluding to here.
I still don't agree with that.
I had no bench spot, man. I'm 4-4. I have to reclaim value.
Players that weren't that.
Maybe, but I had to be able to bring on a guy like Jalen Coker, and I have to see what Jalen Noel gets me. If I don't think Travis Hunter is going to be back this year, I had to liquidate for what I could right now, and I had to give myself an opportunity to make up that value. It's not fun, and it feels gross, but it's the correct decision given my spot.
Disagree. I think dropping Jalen Noel or Colston Loveland was the correct decision.
If you mentally in your head thought there was a 0% chance that Travis Hunter was coming back this year, because based off everything I read, you don't think I read through every single piece of information?
No, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you didn't.
It doesn't sound like he's going to
do it willy nilly.
Well, that's the thing. And
but like nobody has like a definitive answer at this point in time. So I would have just waited until you had a definitive answer. To me, the worst, if you play like, what's the worst case scenario if I just drop Jalen Noel or I just drop Colston Loveland right now? I wait a week and then I drop Travis Hunter because he's not going to be back. And I don't get some similar type Jalen Noel, Colston Loveland type of asset off the waiver.
And then I don't get the fab to outbid everyone in the league. And I have Travis Hunter worth nothing after he's announced out for the year, when I already have 99% confirmation he probably will be out at least for the next 5 to 6 weeks and probably for the year. At this point, it sounds like we're hoping he's back week 16 and 17. And even still, we've already heard from Liam Cohn, they're going to be pessimistic and they're going to be like very, very careful with his recovery. Like the percent chance he plays in week 16 and 17 is so low to the point it wasn't worth me at 4-4 holding a bench spot out of hope. Because that's what it was.
I'm not disagreeing with any of your Hunter rationale. This is my point.
Sure.
Noel's not going to be
until he's not.
You're going to drop Noel anyway. So you might as well just waited the extra week.
Maybe I got to pick up a quarterback next week anyways. It's going to be Jalen Noel.
I'll give you Caleb Williams for him.
Well, I'm fine streaming like a Justin Fields or something. And I would rather pick up a free Jalen Coker stash this week in case he actually amounts to something. Like that, trust me, I thought through everything, dude. I saw Jalen Coker and Torrey Horton on the waivers and thought at least if I pick one of them up and they smash, that's my way of reclaiming wide receiver value.
Maybe. I just think your way of reclaiming wide receiver value maybe was to just hope that he was expected back after 4 weeks. Because they said he would wait. Schefter in his initial tweet said, we won't know more until next week, basically.
He was immediately placed on IR, and Liam Cohn literally said, he didn't say I don't expect him back, but he sounded pessimistic in regards to whether or not he'd be back. Yeah. Like, to me, if that's already the vibe within a week, we wait a week from now and I'm getting one less week of a bench spot, and B, I'm not going to get the fab dollars next week. And as I said, I'm at $81. I have the most fab in the Flock League right now. Like, I need to be able to position myself to where if something big happens, I can outbid anybody.
Well, if you were ever looking to do a 2-for-1 to get 2 really good startable options, I'd be willing to do one because I have really good options on my bench. So,
well, like if I wasn't willing to drop Jalen Noel this week, what would make you think I would do a 2-for-1?
Well, because Jalen Noel is droppable. I don't get your
I don't think he is.
with Jalen Noel. He's very useless.
But why? It's a young player who, when he's on the field, has been commanding targets. And yeah,
he's not going to be on the field now. That's why he's droppable.
Sure, the snaps haven't been there, but also you have to acknowledge that A, rookies get better exponentially down the stretch, and B, what if he does get the snaps? What if he's just so damn good?
Adonai Mitchell gets the snaps.
Sure. What if he's just so damn good to the point where they can't keep him off the field? I think at this point, that's what Jalen Noel's been. Again, if he doesn't do anything this week, no harm, no foul. I'd pick up a quarterback for him. But also worth noting that because Jalen Coker and Torrey Horton were on waivers and both were picked up on Friday anyways, I had to stash one of those guys. I had waiver claims for both of them.
Yeah. Again, I just think it was worth seeing on a player you took in the 4th round who could have been a playoff starter for you.
Brock, what injury would it be where we need to note a week from now? I think it's something in regards to his meniscus. I think it's going to be similar to what we saw announced about Trey Benson.
Yeah.
It sucks. But like, I wouldn't have made this move if I thought there was any chance I'd be able to get him for the playoff run. That's the only reason why I made the move. I don't think he is. And sure, hey,
you just use the word think. Sarge, that's why I'm like, it's not like Noel's consequential. Just drop him and wait till you know him for more information. Anyways, we can move on from this conversation.
I'll just say one last thing. I will more than likely end up dropping Noel after the week anyways, because I do need a quarterback. But now I have the opportunity where not only is it hedge on Jalen Noel potentially breaking out, but I can also see if Jalen Coker breaks out. Like, I have 2 stash options that I have no commitment to after this week, but have the option to potentially give me my wide receiver value. Because if if Noel just, flat out played well at the beginning of the game, played 65% of the routes and had 8 targets again, he's going to be a top 5 waiver pickup for so many people. If Jalen Coker, who played 78% of the routes last week, pops off, third week off of the IR, that's going to be a high waiver priority for people. So the only way I can truly rebuild my wide receiver depth is by taking a chance like this.
Again,
Genuinely. Sorry.
You're right.
That's a bet, but
I just think that if on the off chance Travis Hunter's back in week 13, which is when he would be first eligible, you are going to kick yourself for deciding that a waiver wire wide receiver was worth taking a shot on. That's just my only point on it. I've thought getting these questions.
All I'll say less is I've thought through every scenario, and obviously that scenario would be devastating. But I honestly think at this point there's about a 10% likely scenario of that happening.
Yeah, and I actually probably would have done this as well. If you were going to pick up anybody, I probably would have picked up Parker Washington.
I thought about him. Again, he's not going to make my starting lineup in most weeks, so I'd rather take the upside on a piece that would be. Because I wouldn't have started him over Tajay Spears this week anyways.
Yeah. Also a reminder for everybody filing in here, we're going to actually start getting into the questions. We got about 100 people in the YouTube audience. Again, you did say, can you repeat my other messages really quick? 100 people in the YouTube audience right now. If you guys want free questions, we will be giving some out over on the site here. For those of you guys, if you get them 75 likes, sorry, I'm talking all over the place. 75 likes on the stream, we'll give out some free questions. And I believe we're at like 30 or 40-ish last time I checked. Ralph, I don't see your messages unless you're just talking about above. Okay, hold on. He's talking about in the chat. That's why I debated trading my other picks. Yeah, we addressed that one. If I happen to win like 3 of the next 4 weeks, would you be willing to push the chips in? I'm not a push the chips in person unless my team is telling me that I'm already like the only time I ever sell picks, to be honest with you, is to go get consequential needle moving assets on already really good teams. Like I don't do it to take a fringe team into a good team. That's usually not why I sell picks. I usually sell picks if I'm
because you're a top 3 team already, and then you want to get that extra push. That's kind of
I like having those picks in the bank for the arms race of when I'm already a friggin' dominant team. Like when you sold your first round pick to me when you got Christian McCaffrey from me a couple of years ago, or when I sold my first round pick last year in Tone Setter Truthers to go get Devontae Smith. Like I was in need of a wide receiver. Ayuk went down. I had some injuries. I was like, I'm going to win this championship if I have a great producing wide receiver, and I did. So that's usually when I make those moves. I don't typically go, okay, this team's not a contender, but now it's a contender because I've sold my picks kind of thing. Babyish Godparent here has a trade. Jalen Warren, Lad McConkey, and Travis Kelce for Tucker Kraft, Rashad White, Travis Etienne. Now, I think the wrinkle here is that Rashad White might get a couple more games as the starter after the bye. Wouldn't shock me if Bucky's not back.
Sure, but to me, I'm looking at this. I prefer Warren to ETN, and I would prefer Ladd and Kelce to Rashad White and Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you told me that Rashad was going to start until like week 13, I think this becomes more of a closer deal, but I probably would still take the Warren side. Next up, we got Devon Achane, Rashee Rice, and Dallas Goedert for Judkins. Cup is useless, and Nico Collins.
So it's a 3 for 3. Cooper Kupp is useless. It's the Achane side.
Yeah, I mean, I have Rice and Igbuka relatively comparable. I guess this would be a matter of, do you need the extra starter?
I'm sorry, Corey, but to me, I'm looking at Rice versus Igbuka right now. Like, there has to be a little bit of a gap. Like, we're looking at
given that this is your team, I wouldn't do this.
There's a tier difference.
Your team's a start 7. Like, you're starting Nakua, Lamb, Rice every week. Like, that is frightening for your. Imagine you going up in a fantasy matchup against Nakua, Lamb, and Rice every single game. Holy cow!
No, that's.
There's no reason for you to tear down. I guess the only thing that this does for you is give you a better running back depth piece, but like you have Jacobs, Achane, and Montgomery. Like you're totally fine at that position. Yeah,
to also like respectfully, Corey, I do think there should be a bigger gap between Igbuka and Rice. They're a tier apart for me. Rashee Rice is averaging 24.4 points per game.
Yeah, if he continues doing what he's doing, I'll probably move him up into like a first round asset after this week. I'm just like I've always been with Rice. I'm just a little bit cautious with him. I don't want to be above market on this guy typically. So 14th overall, wide receiver 7 to me is still quite high in my rankings.
Unleash the shackles. Whoever's at number 5 and number 6, just do the deed and rank Rashee Rice over them.
Do you have Rashee Rice at number 4?
I have Rashee Rice at number 5. The 4 ahead of him: JSN, Lamb, Chase, Puka.
Okay. One thing I will do is I will put him ahead of Justin Jefferson because JJ McCarthy stinks. And I actually am going to put Igbuka ahead of Justin Jefferson as well because
I wouldn't do that.
I would rather have him at Igbuka than Justin Jefferson at this point in time.
Jefferson's gotten 10 plus targets in his last 4 games.
Once I see JJ McCarthy play well, I will make the research. I'm worried that he's not going to be very good. But yeah,
he's ranking Garrett over Jefferson
Lamb,
again.
JSN, those guys are all kind of in the same territory for me. So
he's ranking Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson again, guys. Get him. No, I'm kidding.
Come on now. Mecca Ibuka is a 20 point per game receiver here.
Yeah, I know he's good, but I mean, like I'm not buying all this FUD on Jefferson right now, honestly.
The worst quarterback in football, though, is throwing him.
But like that's the thing. You're making weird proclamations after 2 games, guys. Can we just watch him play?
I'll keep Jefferson one spot ahead of Ibuka for one more game.
Let's just watch him play.
Stink it up. I'm switching it.
Go ahead. I just watch them play. Also worth noting, neither game he had big volume. What if he throws 30, 35 times this game?
Okay, well, to use your own rationale against you, Emeka Egbuka is a rookie receiver who typically play well at the end of the season, and he's already produced more points per game than Jefferson.
Is a stud. It's Justin fucking Jefferson that I'm defending here.
Okay, well, then how come he's not outproducing Egbuka right now?
It's not Egbuka that I'm bringing down. Sure, in the first few games, he was underperforming. Ever since then, he's gotten 10-plus targets in his last 4 games, and it's arguably the best receiver talent in the league. Can we just give him some grace? Like,
I'll give him a little bit of grace. I still think he's a good trade target and stuff. He's my wide receiver 7 still ahead of Egbuka, but I would just be moving him to 8.
I have him at 7 as well. I feel like there's just a lot of FUD on Jefferson. He just feels due for that fucking...
You wouldn't be saying this if you didn't have him in the flock league.
Why do you think I traded for him in the flock league, Corey? Why do you think I traded for him?
He's a good bounce back candidate. I like him to bounce back. I think that JJ McCarthy is bad. So and he's producing 15.4 fantasy points per game right now. Is that consequential fantasy production?
He's played 2 games with JJ McCarthy's played 2 games with Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson has 1 touchdown on the year, by the way. Can we just give him some grace? Let's see if it balances out. I mean, we know wide receiver scoring varies. Hell, we were ready to throw Lad McConkey off a cliff 2 weeks ago. I just feel like with arguably the best receiver talent in football, let's just wait and see what it looks like. Making proclamations on his points per game, until he has 2 straight 25 points, and all of a sudden he's averaging 19 per game. You know what I mean?
2 of the best 6 receivers in football are averaging 12 fantasy points per game in AJ Brown and Nico Collins. So,
I mean, different situation. AJ Brown was injured. AJ Brown was upset. AJ Brown, there's a whole lot of shit going behind the scenes.
I think Jefferson's upset right now.
I don't think so. What?
Okay, well,
how would he be upset?
To Brock's point, there's not really a point to this debate because they're both every week starters. Drake London for Rico Dowdle and Travis Hunter. Given your pessimism on Hunter, I think you're very easily on the Drake London side here.
I mean,
redraft trade, not a dynasty trade. So.
That's I'm trying to wrap my head. I'm sure this was offered before the news.
It was 2 days ago, so maybe
it's London. It's not close.
Yeah. Caleb Williams or Dart this week. Dart. San Francisco game, they're at home for it. Caleb Williams on the road in Cincinnati. I think we probably prefer Caleb Williams this week, correct?
Yeah, I got Caleb higher.
D-Rock starts at question.
Caleb.
Caleb over. I'm actually personally with this decision in the listener league, and I am starting Caleb Williams over Bo Nix myself. Flex decision, Judkins is on bye. Hunter is injured. So it'd probably come down to Sutton versus Henderson, I would imagine. I think I'd probably go with Henderson, man. Sutton's in the worst game environment of the week. It's the lowest over-under. It's a really difficult matchup. He's expected to see shadow from Stingley, who's been up and down, but he's had some good games here. So I think I would slightly lean Henderson just on the upside too, that he, really just breaks a long run or something like that. Sutton is probably the safer play for sure. I wouldn't shock me if Sutton just has a 12 target game or something like that. I just think that the ceiling play here is Henderson. I think they're close enough that I would want to take the risk on it. Especially, I talked about this in matchups. Probably. I talked about this in matchups that matter, but Trevion Henderson against the Falcons defense this week. The Falcons are bottom 10 against every rushing metric and top 10 against every passing metric. So the Patriots, who were the 31st ranked EPA rushing offense in the NFL coming into the week, having a better running back play, their running game could end up unlocking a huge, starting role for Trevion. Trevion's got to take this job and run with it right now. He has to have a monster game. Because if he has a ho-hum, 11 for 40 rushing yard line or something, it'll just be Stevenson once he's back.
Also, you want to hear one of the funnier reports? Cowboys are willing to trade Jalen Tolbert as a sweetener to help for a defensive trade.
Yeah.
Hey, Jets, send us Quinton Williams and we'll give you Jalen Tolbert in a 2. Who says no?
Ew. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Oh, sorry. I saw that tweet and I'm like, what the fuck is a Jalen Tolbert fucking sweetener? Like, who just says, you know what? I wasn't going to make the trade, but if you throw in a wide receiver 3-4 in the league, I might consider it.
Yeah, I mean, Hassan, Ramondre is the starting running back for the 31st ranked EPA per rush offense in football. And this is despite their passing offense being ranked second in football. So I don't think Ramondre Stevenson's actually been good down to down. He's had a couple of touchdowns and whatnot. For fantasy, he's been fine, but real life NFL, he's not been great.
Semi-relevant news, if you guys are starting Rico Dowdle, or I mean the Carolina Panthers.
How many times are they going to name this guy the starting running back in 1 week?
Well, yeah, but specifically in regards to the game, I saw this from Josh, but the Panthers are starting a new 60% of their offensive line, center, right guard, and right tackle, all new players in the lineup this week. So against the Packers in a bad game script, I might need to drop Rico a couple spots.
I might low-key pick up Michael Carter and play him over Chuba Hubbard in our listener league because I have Breece on bye, so I have to start like kind of a shitter running back this week. And normally Hubbard would have been the guy that I started because he was my RB3, but now he's like not even a starter anymore. I'm high key because there were some reports that Michael Carter was getting some first team reps. I'll just take the upside that he outsnaps Bam Knight or like gets the touchdown or catches a couple passes or something, as opposed to starting Chuba Hubbard. Like, what the hell am I seriously hoping for if I start Chuba Hubbard in a 14-point underdog game against the Packers when he's not even going to start?
If Michael Carter's the lead ball carrier, this might be the end of me.
I'm not saying he will be, but there was reports that him and Bam were going back and forth on first team reps. And even when Bam's been the starter, he's only been like 45 of the snaps type of guy.
Yeah, he's not a
he's not like a workhorse. Like, wouldn't you rather start the off chance of Michael Carter against the Cowboys, knowing that the backup running back for the Broncos had 3 touchdowns last week?
Yeah, I mean, like Michael Carter, RJ Harvey, everybody made that comp, of course. I'm kidding. But all jokes aside,
thinking, like, what is the upside of me starting Chuba Hubbard, who's not going to start against the Packers' top 3 run defense as a 14-point underdog?
Corey, all jokes aside, is like Michael Carter the floor comp for RJ Harvey?
Probably, yeah, actually. Okay. Getting back to the questions here, Pasta Bro's got his lineup set. He says, barely escaped getting chopped every week. Only 75 of 1,000 fab left. Okay, so he's really down bad. Is it 18-man league? 18-man half PPR. I wish I had 18 friends, brother. And also, I wish I could build a team like this in an 18-man league. This is a really good team for an 18-man.
That's a howitzer of a squad.
I mean, losing Scadaboo really sucks because when you can hit on a sleeper like that in a deep league format, that's going to go a long way. This is the right lineup, though. I mean, I don't see any changes that I would make. Would you throw Gadsden in at flex over Walker? I guess that would be the only change that I would maybe make there.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Arthur, I'm making the joke. Relax. RJ Harvey probably going to end up better than Carter, but I'm saying if Harvey ended up being a bust, he would probably look somewhat similar to what Carter.
I had a higher grade on Carter, to be honest, coming out. So,
but that's what I'm saying, though. It's like stylistically, they're like similar backs. They're elusive backs that can contribute on third down.
That's positive Carter propaganda, not anti-Harvey.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Kareem Hunt, Marvin Harrison, or BTJ this week?
You would have to pry Marvin Harrison out of my cold dead hands against the Cowboys.
After last night's game, I need Marvin Harrison on Monday night to just absolutely score. If I lose in fantasy this week after watching that fucking putrid baseball game last night, I'm going to lose full. If Badaki beats me after watching that,
oh my God.
I'm going to be upset as hell. You're going to watch me crying in the shower again. I'll just spoil that for sure. I'll be crying in a Blue Jays jersey this time. Kamani Vidal, Tyrone Tracy, Bam. Okay, these are some great guys. Vidal is the guy you'd have to pry out of my cold dead hands to not get in my lineup this week.
Monunga is the clear next one for me.
I have Tracy 1 spot higher than him. Or no, do I? No, I don't.
I have Monunga like 6 spots higher than Tracy this week.
You're right. I do have Monunga 1 spot higher than Tracy, but they are pretty close for me in my rankings.
Amon-Ra, JSN. Like what?
I saw some shit in the chat. Yeah, JSN, Amon-Ra, automatic starts. Kittle or Gadsden.
Let me see. They're like probably back to back for me this week. Let me take a look. Kittle at 6, Gadsden at 7, but oh fuck. Gadsden against Tennessee without Simmons, Snead, and McCreary.
Yeah, I'm moving Gadsden.
I'm moving Gadsden up, but I'm moving Gadsden above Ferguson too, even though I actually really love Ferguson this week too.
Yeah, Gadsden's just a monster. I mean, he might end up starting both of these guys realistically. Okay.
I mean, Henderson is in, and Nico.
So Nico is in. I think he'd be the number 1 for me. I'm throwing Kittle out here. Kittle's better than all of these other options.
Go Henderson with the other one, and we're good.
I have Tracy ahead of Henderson.
I have Henderson ahead of Tracy.
The last 7 games, the San Francisco 49ers, since they've suffered the Nick Bosa injury, 5 of the last 7 running backs have gone over 100 total yards.
Yeah,
so I am personally throwing Tracy out there. They're also at home, New York too.
Well, I would go with Henderson and Tracy
over Kittle.
Yeah,
really?
I think so.
Okay, I'll capitulate on that.
I will say if you have hesitance about the Trevion Henderson workload, I don't mind going with the other 2 pivot options. Me personally, I'm willing to bank in on the upside of him. But if you're just saying, hey, Tracy, more guaranteed touches, Kittle, obviously more guaranteed touches. Who knows if Terrell Jennings comes in on the 3-yard line to steal carries? Like, what if this is a Mike McDonald, Charbonnet versus Walker situation? I understand that exists, but I just think if Trevion Henderson is not ready to pay off this spot, is he ever going to pay off this spot?
I'd be worried about him in Dynasty if he can't pay off in this spot, man. This is a good matchup, and maybe he's just not ready, but like he played 4 years in college. Like, come on now.
Tori, in case you didn't know what happened last night.
I'm aware that I don't know if I've ever seen a team choke that hard in my life. Like, honestly, like that was just a full status choke job. I don't know how you possibly don't win that game. Like, dude. Just so many opportunities. Like, thankfully, like I said to Danny, karmically, I've never watched one of my teams lose in the finals of their respective championship. I watched the Toronto Raptors get pretty lucky that the Golden State Warriors had 2 of their best players go down with an injury so that they won the 2019 NBA Finals. And I watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dismantle the Kansas City Chiefs. If you told me I'm going to lose one of those 3, I would pick baseball every single time. So I'd be okay with that.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Dodgers fan, and to be honest, the Blue Jays were the better team playing better baseball. Yeah, dude, we could not figure out Yamamoto. We couldn't figure him out. He was literally kryptonite.
Yeah, that dude's a baller. I can't lie.
Yeah, and don't get me started, Grayson. Like, I can name you 15 different instances in which we should have won the series throughout the entire 7 games. Like, the 18 inning spectacle, we should have won that game based on how we were playing in that one. We should have, when we had 0 outs and a runner on third or whatever it was in game 6, when we were down a run or whatever, down 2 runs with runners in scoring position. How do we not tie the game up or win it there? Like, I could just literally list you a million different things, but this is baseball talk on a football show, so I'm not going to fucking waste your time.
Yeah, and I guess the most recent heartbreak I was talking about with you, Corey, but it wasn't as much of a heartbreak because I realized coming in, like, they were the lowest ranked team coming into the playoffs. It was a Cinderella run already, but if we had lost in 7 to Tampa Bay back in the COVID Cup, that would have been one thing. But the fact that Tampa Bay beat Montreal 4-1 in that series, after knowing that we were probably lucky to even get there, to be honest, like, yeah, it was a great run. Don't get me wrong. I feel great. Our penalty kill was on.
Carey Price job.
Prime carry. Yeah, like, a lot went right for us to get there. It would have been nice, obviously, to see us finish it off, but I'm just grateful that didn't end up in a game. Like, if we lost,
I would have rather lost in 5 games than experience what I just experienced. I would have rather the Dodgers just look like the clearly superior team, beat the shit out of us than experience what I experienced yesterday, honestly.
Yo, Cats, don't worry here. Don't worry.
Yeah, fire him another question there. Our here, Dynasty start 11, J.K. Dobbins, Puka Nacua, Brian Robinson, and early to mid 2 for Justin Herbert, T-Mac, Loveland, and a 1. This is one of those trades where you're just giving your opponent way too many ways to win it. So I probably, as much as Puka Nacua is an absolute monster, I would probably keep the early to mid 1 Justin Herbert, T-Mac, and Loveland. As great as Puka Nacua is, there's just not enough outs for you to win this deal, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm more willing to make aggressive value offer moves in redraft specifically because I know I can make up the depth on the waiver wire because it's such a thin league. Overpaying in Dynasty is where I get really hesitant. Like, you've seen us, we need to feel like we're getting like a decent value in order to make a Dynasty trade because we've seen so many people just waste through assets. And you look at their team 2 years later and you think, where the fuck did the roster value go on this thing? Like, that is the worst position to be in Dynasty, is you're making moves with one goal in mind. And then 2 years later, when you don't end up winning the championship, you look back on the roster and say, well, I don't have any players valued in the first 2 rounds of startups. And why do I have only one of my first in the next 3 years?
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. And yeah, in all seriousness, if you are a Dodger fan, that was the best. Like, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but that was easily the best baseball game I've ever seen. And
that was the best baseball game of all time.
Series I've ever seen by far.
I'm not even joking. That was the best baseball game of all time. Like, I can't think of a better baseball game than that.
Well, considering the stakes, extra innings, Game 7 World Series, David versus Goliath, like, this is it was absolute cinema. Like, it was absolute cinema last night. As much as I would have loved to come out on the other side of it, it was absolute cinema.
Also, I guess we got to address this too. Where do you rank Kareem Hunt? Apparently, fucking Clyde Edwards-Helaire is active and he's on the Chiefs again. When did that happen?
No, Kareem Hunt's still top 15 running back for me, dude. He was a top 15 running back in points per game without Pacheco last year. And the Bills, the Bills are the #1 rush rate over expected defense, aka nobody passes the ball against Buffalo. They choose to run the ball. Kareem Hunt's going to get 20 carries in this game.
So you're saying I should have accepted Nathan's deal for Bam Knight?
Kareem Hunt for Bam Knight straight was the deal he offered you?
I like Bam more this week.
So yeah, I have him. I would have done that because I have him ranked over Bam Knight. But I guess the maybe upside of your side of that deal would be that if Benson's out another 1 to 2 games, then you have more utility out of Bam Knight. Whereas Pacheco and Hunt are on bye next week, and it's possible Pacheco is back after the bye. But if he's not back after the bye, I think it's almost better that there's one guy in this backfield as opposed to both of them. Because Kareem Hunt by himself in the backfield is better than Isaiah Pacheco healthy. Yeah, no,
respectfully, if Isaiah Pacheco comes back and he scores 6.1 fantasy points in my line, or he's not going to be in my lineup, he's going to be on the bench. He scores 6.1 fantasy points the first game back. He's probably going to end up on waivers.
Yeah,
seriously. And I mean, looking back on our deal, is basically just Walker for Dak, which I think is probably about equatable value anyways. If you look at the rest of the season rankings, it's just funny because it was a 2 for 2, and like you're about to drop Caleb, and I'm about to drop Pacheco. It feels like.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold Caleb honestly because there's nothing on waivers that really interests me, and Lamar still has a hamstring injury, so I'm kind of just holding him for the. And he has Caleb has a really good schedule the next couple of weeks, so I might as well just hold him. I'm not gonna get anything in him a trade for him, maybe some fab at best, but I'll just hold him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Even just having him as a backup quarterback, there's nothing on waivers that interests me right now.
This is Hunt and Hendo, right?
Yeah. So I have Hunt higher than Henderson, but let's see where the other ones. McConkey or Adams.
Oh, what the fuck?
You'd have to pry Lad out of my lineup this week, dude. I have to start him this week.
Put Adams in the flex spot then, because he is not going to be or you're not flexing Henderson or anything.
No, zero chance. This is a fucking wagon of a team, dude.
Dude, go trade a wide receiver for a running back. We're benching Nico.
He has to play Hawkins. What you need to do is go trade for a tight end. Go get Brock before this week. Go trade for Brock Bowers or George Kittle or something who can or Ferguson or something like. Well, his team is already in great shape at running back and wide receiver. Go get the one position in your lineup that you suck at.
Fair. I was more so just saying, like if it was Hunt plus Nico and you could get a hammer, like
for sure. Want to compete this year, but seems too good to pass up. BTJ currently my wide receiver 3 after Puka and Rice.
Also, Cody, what are the waivers at quarterback? If it's like the Flock League, I wouldn't mind doing this. B, what's your situation on your roster? If you have a strong quarterback 1, go and pick up Jalen Cook. I think this is Jalen Cook.
Zero chance I do that.
Why?
I just don't imagine anybody's league environment is. I wouldn't even do this in the Flock League, and nobody's league environment's like that at quarterback.
I did do this in the Flock League, technically.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that personally. I would rather just hold the upside that Caleb figures it out down the stretch. Even because if in your league,
it's not anti-Caleb,
hold any value whatsoever, you can maybe use him as a trade chip at least.
Sure, that's one thing. If you think Caleb Williams can get into that tier 2 in the mid quarterback 1 range, sure. But in our league that doesn't value quarterback,
nobody's league is like ours, Danny. Like most people's league's not like that.
I get that. But what I'm saying is I would, in that type of setting, if you are in it, I would rather just stash Coker. Again, 78% of the routes, second week off the hamstring.
JJ's the top quarterback on waivers, which means your league is not like ours. Jordan Love was on waivers in our league last week.
Cody, if that's the case, keep Caleb for next week when Dak's on bye, and then maybe make the move next week then.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Caleb plays the Giants next week after he blows up the Giants and the Bengals in back-to-back weeks. Try and trade him when you have Dak.
If that's how the league operates, then that's how I would do it. Also, you're talking a lot in the chat, P2. If you have a clearly better game than Game 7 last night, be my guest.
Yeah, I'm not a baseball connoisseur, so I have no idea. It's the best baseball game I've ever seen, for sure.
I'm not a baseball connoisseur either, and I know people might say, well, what about Cubs versus Indians in 2016? That was up there as well, Game 7. But
I actually did watch that game, and I thought last night's game was better.
Great game, I agree, and that's where I'm at with that. So if you can tell me a game that's better than a 4-2 lead in the top of the 8th inning, go in the extras the way it did, all the drama that happened in that game, you cannot tell me that's not in contention for best baseball game of all time. It's like, yeah, sure. I didn't watch the 90s baseball games. Like point went out and then
weren't alive.
We talk about it. Yeah.
Not to mention maybe like it was electric. The steroid era of baseball too. I'd imagine was probably pretty great.
I just think like going through that type of game, like objectively speaking, what else could we've expected from a viewing perspective?
I actually think the game would have been better, like biasly, obviously, if Clement's home run goes out of the park, or like if instead of getting caught at the warning track like that, if he bombs one, or instead of double playing out for the end of the game, if Kirk bombs one, like in extras or something. Like if there was a walk-off, that's the only thing that game was missing, was a walk-off.
Yeah, if it had a walk-off, I think it'd be undisputed. But I don't know, man. Like I'm just going through the game. Like there was just so many crazy situations that went on. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we have some games getting suggested in the chat. If you guys have been watching baseball for a while, Joe Carter.
I've actually seen this game because as a Blue Jays fan, I wanted to know what happened in it, and it was also an electric game as well. But I still think last night, given that it was the Dodgers with the payroll they have and the stars that they have, to me, it's just a better story.
Well, contextually speaking, I would say best game ever, because like when you see that it's a Game 7 of the World Series going the way it did, extra innings, like. Yeah, sure. Any individual Game 3 or Game 4, Game 5, I think because it's Game 7, it jumps up the board, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like just like we've had better games than the 2016 NBA Finals Game 7. We've had better overall basketball games, but everybody will point to that being arguably the best finals game of all time.
Is that the Cavs 3-1 comeback game?
93-89 over the Warriors. We had a Kevin Love ISO against Steph Curry where he actually clamped them up at the end of the game. I'll make the joke. Apparently, Steph was dealing with a bad MCL sprain in that game. So shout out Steph for playing through any injury. But it was back and forth. Kyrie hits the big shot. LeBron chased down. Kevin Love, like I said, ISO against Steph Curry in the final seconds.
LeBron chased down was
so
pretty
much going on.
Yeah. Okay. Getting back to the question so we can get everything answered on time. This is way too good to pass up in Dynasty. Are you kidding me? Travis Hunter, QJ, Jake Ferguson, a first and a second for Brian Thomas Jr. Like, dude, I have Travis Hunter ranked over Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, and he's like, I want to compete this year, but this just seems way too good to pass up.
Take that all day.
All day.
Run
CMC here. Tedero McMillan and George Kittle for Bucky Irving. Redraft 10-team, start 8. This is too much to give up for Bucky, man. I'm worried enough to the point that this is too much to give up. Like,
Blocked
I'm not saying that Bucky's not a fine trade target. If like the only way I would trade for Bucky Irving right now, there's maybe 10% of you guys that could actually use this advice, is Bucky Irving is on a team or where they're not competing and you have a magnitude horse of a fucking squad and you could lose 2 depth starters and not even be affected by it. Like you have Tyrone Tracy and Tedero McMillan that you locked into and you're just like, whatever, they're not even starters for me.
Weren't you like 6?
Yeah, you felt like 10.
No, I know. I'm trolling him. I mean, that was the best basketball team of all time statistically. Now, obviously, contextually, you add Kevin Durant, the 2017, 2018 iterations of the Warriors' better basketball teams, but 73-9, you look at every efficiency metric, you look at the season that Steph had, like, objectively speaking, like, from a, what's the point? Like a on paper perspective, that 2016 Warriors team, you're never going to see a better basketball team.
Probably not. We currently have 51 likes, fellas. If you guys want free trade questions, you got to hammer that like button. And there's how many of you in here? 127 of you in here. So you got no excuses. You should clear 75 with ease. Jake Ferguson for Deebo Samuel, pretty cut and dry. I'm taking Deebo Samuel given this Terry McLaurin news that he's going to be out potentially until week 12. Like Deebo is going to be over the next month a top 18 receiver probably.
Yeah, probably about that.
Especially with JD back. Like we haven't really seen Jaden Daniels and Deebo healthy for very many games. I'm sure there's been a couple where they've been there.
Where do you have Deebo rest of the season, by the way?
I got to move him up. I don't like touching my rest of season rankings on Sunday because I know I'm just going to maneuver them tomorrow after the games.
Yeah,
so the Terry news only came out like a day ago or whatever. So I'm probably just going to not worry about it until Monday when we do the rankings changes video.
For sure.
We are going to, but Mason, we don't even get 100 likes. Period. So we won't get that many, but we're going to do it every 75 likes. So once we get to 75, we'll give out some free questions. Let's keep motoring here. Jaden Daniels over Jackson Dart with ease. Kyle Menengai and Genty, probably the running backs here.
Yeah. Unless you have Hunt over Genty, which I don't.
I don't. I have Genty over both of them. Rasheed. I mean, I'd probably just start both Chiefs receivers given the game environment.
Gosh.
I don't love Worthy right now.
You have to start him over Booty, but man, he is squeaky wheel game.
Yeah, Trey McBride over Gadsden. You going to start Gadsden over Tracy and Hunt?
It'd be between Hunt and Gadsden.
Well, I mean, you're already starting Rice and Worthy, so
give me Gadsden. Yeah, give me Gadsden then.
Yeah, I'd probably go Gadsden as well there.
Yeah. Also, I talked about this on the wide receiver rankings video. So Keenan Allen ran a 50% route share this past week, and he has scored outside of the top 40 wide receivers in 4 of his last 5 games, which has directly coincided with the Yorande Gadsden breakout.
It has. Yeah, it has. I hope that we continue to see no Keenan Allen out there as a
I would hope so as well.
Bag holder. So
I would need Lad McConkey to continue doing what he's been doing these last couple of weeks in the Listener League, because obviously losing Travis Hunter, it sucks. I mean, luckily he was only like my wide receiver 4 or 5 on that team, so like I didn't feel the brunt as hard. But I'm just gonna need everybody else to pick up. CD, Rice, Lad, Jawan Jennings, even for that matter. Maybe he's finally playing healthy. The guy had 5 broken ribs 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he did. Lad and Wandale for T-Mac and Dobbins. I think I just want Lad here. I think the difference between, like, as crazy as it sounds production-wise, the difference between Wandale and T-Mac is not that far off. At least at this moment in time. Is there upside that T-Mac can be better? For sure, but Lad McConkey is by far the best asset in this deal. Yeah,
I just want to consolidate into Lad. And maybe Wandale's a big game. You could sell high on him too.
Yeah. Just need 5 more likes, fellas. Come on.
Well, Spicy, that's not good faith. That's not good faith.
Bro. No, you are not.
Were you victory lapping the Travis Hunter stance after he broke out in week 7?
It's like me coming in here and be like, dude, I told you not to draft Malik Neighbors. Like, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, if you were chanting, hey, it was a one-off week after week 7, he's not going to do it again. Like, if that was your stance, sure, victory lap that. But victory lapping after an injury, like, nothing actually grinds my gears more than people do that. Like, I saw this. I had to block a couple people on Twitter because they were tweeting about, oh, look at all these.
This is why you don't play both sides of the ball, people, because you're going to get banged up playing both sides of the ball. There's people out there that are being like, this is why you got to pick one side. You're just going to get injured more often.
Yeah, I'm just glad, Spicy, you're more so trolling. There's serious people out there that I saw victory lapping. Like, are we look this like fucking guy named Sus or something on Twitter I had to block because he was like talking about like Travis Hunter drafters being stupid because he lucked out on a fucking injury. Give me a break. Yeah, William, I didn't get it with all the chaos this weekend. I did not get a chance to update the trade value chart other than the fact that both of our rankings are up to date in there, but I need to go through and update the actual trade values in the trade value chart. So that'll come early next weekend. Apologies to those of you guys that were relying on that this week, but the trade calculator and our Dynasty rankings are up to date. So you can still get some good gauges for trade value. It's just that I didn't get quite a chance to do that. We got to 75 likes. So let's motor through some questions so we can get to some free ones for people here. This is Charbonnet, right? Probably. No Terry. It's Aaron Jones. You gonna go Aaron Jones over Charbonnet? I'd rather start Charbonnet. I think. We're receiving back for a team that's implied to lose by 8 points right now. I don't mind that. Okay. All right. I'll roll with Aaron Jones. I think they were back to back in my video, so I'm not against that. Drake May or Daniel Jones here. I'd go Drake May. I love Daniel Jones, but this is quarterback 4 versus quarterback 7, I think, on my rankings.
Yeah, they're really close for me as well. Menengai is very easily over Bam Knight for me this week. In the flex, Bam Knight versus Woody versus T-Mac versus Igbuka's on bye, Wilson's on bye, Gadsden as well. I think I'm going T-Mac and Gadsden here, or are you going to go Bam over either of those guys maybe?
I think I go T-Mac and Gadsden.
Yeah.
And I'm not biased there because I'm voting against the guy that I am not starting in the flock league. Which, by the way, I did make the change after seeing the Panthers offensive line in the home league. I had Rico Dowdle over Bam Knight to capitulate because obviously I'm starting Bam in the flock league. I didn't want to double dip, but I just think Bam is just such a clearly better play than Rico this week going up against Green Bay.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible game environment for him. The only saving grace is that he's been so good. He's been so good that maybe he just keeps the game close. I do think the Panthers could cover that 13.5, but I don't know if it's going to be like a really close game. Dirty Milkers, shout out. Josh Jacobs for Swift, Menengai in London. Yeah, I want Jacobs here, I think. It's not a bad offer, though. If you needed the depth, you get
PPR start 8. I mean, I guess I'm assuming he's making this move because he needs a running back.
I think he just needs depth.
Well, I mean, no, he's giving up the depth.
Oh, he's giving. Well, yeah, I guess maybe he's trying to consolidate.
Did he make the move, or is he the other guy?
He must be the other guy here. Swift. Yeah, he's trying to consolidate. That's why he's trying to make this move. So he's giving up Swift, Menengai, and London.
I would not feel good about that. I would not feel good about that wide receiver core in an 8-man start 8. If you
knowing that you're going to flex Breece Hall every single week and Kamani Vidal for the short term, you'd only have to pick one of Pittman or BTJ to start, though. I'd feel fine about that.
I don't know. I would. I don't know.
I think with no Hunter, BTJ probably sees a little bit of an uptick. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a pretty solid move.
It's not. It's the name Jacobs. If that was like James Cook or someone else like that.
Yeah, it's only a 6-spot discrepancy between where I have London and where I have Jacobs. I'm just a smidge, little bit worried about the Falcons' passing offense right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, Kenneth Walker's on waivers. It is an 8-man league, though. Keep that in mind, Dylan. So a guy like Kenneth Walker, like more likely to be on waivers in that type of setting.
Yeah, I would still go pick him up, though.
I would too.
It's a possibility that the coaching staff goes back and looks at the tape and they're like, hey, one of these guys is averaging 4.5 yards a carry. One of them is averaging 2.7 yards per carry. Maybe we should give Walker a little bit more early down work. I don't think the split is going to be crazy different. Probably be pretty similar, but maybe carry-wise, it's a little bit more of a Walker-heavy thing. They also have only targeted combined Charbonnet and Walker 15 total times this entire season.
12 teams start 7. Give me Sedarian.
Yeah, I also will take CD Lamb in that situation, especially considering I would imagine that's why you're making the move is to consolidate. Breece Hall, Jamar Chase for Adams, Genty.
There's a bunch of fluff.
This is a bunch of fluff. Goddard and Diggs are non-consequential. Genty and Adams not good enough for Jamar, and Breece is a fine enough piece back. Christian in here, Cardinals quarterback versus Dallas or Bo. This is an interesting conversation. I mean, Jacoby Brissett versus Bo Nix. I think you just got to lean on Bo Nix being a top 8 fantasy quarterback this year.
It's funny that you asked this because I'm not sure if you saw in our group chat.
Asked the same question.
Sexy basically asked this exact same question, except Aaron Rodgers is in the equation. I would still go with Bo. Bo, you do have some rushing equity. Obviously, the offense overall.
It's on the road against one of the best defenses in football, though.
There's definitely pros and cons to it. And I also I don't think it's out of the range of outcome if somebody said they did prefer Jacoby this week because I have, let me see where I have them. I have them quarterback 14 and quarterback 18.
That game very much could be 10-7. Actually, like Christian is correct for sure.
I'm making Knicks 15. Now I'm putting Goff over him.
Yeah, I have Knicks at 16 right now. I don't really want to start him, but I also don't really want to rely on Jacoby Brissett either. And that game's also on the road too. If the Cardinals were at home, I'd actually think that's enough of a small tiebreaker that I could probably go towards Jacoby. But I just think the floor of Bo Nix running the ball and that game, for what it's worth, even though it's a 40.5 point over under, the Sharps actually like the over in that game. So it's possible it's a little bit higher scoring than some people are thinking here. Bam Knight, Kamani Vidal, Trevion Henderson. You have to pry Kamani Vidal out of my cold dead hands for me to not start him this week. Trevion Henderson versus Bam Knight in the flex here.
I go Hendo.
Yeah, I also prefer Henderson. Keep an eye on Tootin this week. I know he obviously wouldn't have been starting there, but keep an eye on him this week. Those of you guys that maybe see him on waivers right now and have a guy that you could just drop, go pick him up, because it's possible. And I know Liam Cohen very well as a Bucs fan. Every time that something was going wrong with our offense, all he would talk about was fixing the run game. And Travis Etienne has single-digit fantasy points in 3 straight games. So it's possible that him fixing the run game could be getting Tootin more involved in the run game. So just keep that in mind for those of you guys. Like if you want to beat the waiver wire, like I know Land puts out a video every week called Beat the Waiver Wire. And I think Tootin is like the prototypical beat the waiver wire guy.
That would be big for me. That would be big for me because if I could start Tootin next week against Sal, knowing that my Cowboys are on bye, that would be fucking big. Yeah, and with Tootin, as you know, with Liam Cohen, obviously he's a football coach. He's a hands-on coach. But out of all the coaches in the league, like you would say he's the most modern in terms of metrics, in terms of analytics, understanding what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Compared to Kyle Shanahan, for example, is just going to put his guys out there. So Liam Cohen probably has guys in his ear telling him, like, oh yeah, Byshal Tootin has been one of the most efficient per down running backs in terms of success rate this year. Like he might hear something like that and think, oh, well, my running game has been inconsistent. Let me get the guy out there that's consistently getting good runs.
Yeah, no, there's
a possibility.
He's not stupid. He'll look at the tape and realize that Travis, since earlier on in the season, has been not as good, I would say, of an option as he was at the beginning of the season. Okay, let's keep firing through again. We did get to 75 likes, so once we get through these initial questions, we will fire out some vouchers. If you guys want a voucher, make sure to put your username in. Has to be a code FSE user, and also what kind of question you would like, either a trade question or a start sit question, and we will get to those. Let's keep rapid firing through here. Zonovan Knight, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Olave. Tracy, my highest of the 2 running backs. Olave, though, pretty decent matchup, knowing that the Rams are kind of down some corners right now.
So a factor with Olave, I mean, even despite that, the Rams defense overall, structurally, play calling wise, they've been one of the stingiest pass defenses in the league.
But they haven't been against fantasy wide receivers, though. They've been good against quarterbacks and running backs.
Well, overall against the pass, EPA per play, they're second in the league behind Houston. So, generally speaking, they're more of a run funnel defense, even though they've been good at both. And on top of that, I don't really have much belief in Tyler Shuck. I think the answer is still Olave, and it's a half PPR actually. Half PPR, I go Tracy.
Yeah.
You open, he breaks off the big play against San Francisco. If this is a full PPR, you go with Olave, but half PPR, I just changed my mind. I'm going Tracy.
Yeah, I think that Tracy, like I said, the 49ers, since Warner went down, every running back that they've played against, or running back core that they played against, has gone over 100 total yards. And 5 of their last 7 games since Bosa went down, they've been allowing running backs to really tear them up. They aren't really allowing a whole lot of touchdowns and whatnot, but Tracy, I don't know if you knew this, last year when he was a starter, Tracy only got 38% of the inside the 5 attempts from week 5 onward. It was Devin Singletary who was kind of stealing those. And it's because Tracy was fumbling a little bit, I think, right?
Well, if you remember, because it was the fumbling, because I had him in the flock league. You remember in my clips, I'd be like, get this fat fuck off the field, whatever. I would just make jokes like that, which I swear they're the most in shape people that get subbed in. But even Zach Charbonnet, when he gets subbed in for Walker, it's just so easy to just say, get this fat fuck off the field.
Yeah, no, literally.
You know what I mean?
It feels like they're 1 million pounds because they're just the big thick back that gets in there. I fired out some of you guys questions for up to Mitchell MVP radius. I got all of those covered. Let's keep going here.
It's just that style of back. You just refer to them as the milk drinkers. It's that's why they're on the field. They are the milk drinkers.
Yeah, they are literally certified meat eaters, as certified meat eaters. Okay, we fired out questions. Zach, you got one there. Katz, I believe you already got one from Danny earlier. No.
Yeah, I resent him the trade question, but I think he's asking for the start sit, which is fine. Because remember his trade question, it didn't apply anymore.
Yeah, I'll fire him. I'll fire him a start sit here. Okay, let's keep going so we actually get through set questions. Once we get to 100, I'll pick back up on Grayson. And once we get to 100 likes, I'll send out more of those questions there. So Joe Flacco, Bo Nix as the quarterback decision. Are you going to go Flacco over Nix this week? Are you still going Nix?
I'm going Knicks. It's an AC joint sprain for Flacco. There is reports that he could feel good going into the game, but if he takes a big hard hit, lands on that shoulder, we could see a big decrease in his overall throw velocity. And for an older quarterback that isn't mobile anyways, that is concerning. Like, what if he is, only?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he
power.
drops 3 points in your starting lineup because he left the game early. Like, that would be my
That's
worry
where-
with Joe Flacco, because
Yeah.
he's not already that great of a play to begin with, because he's Joe Flacco and he doesn't run the ball. So
Yeah.
I would say just like kind of avoiding him just for the downside risk factor of, can you afford to have 3 points at your starting quarterback position, would be my one worry about starting Joe Flacco this week.
So a couple things. First, what are the types of vouchers? So start, sit, and trade vouchers that we're giving out. And like Corey said, 75 likes, we're going to be giving out 10. And for every 25 after that, we're going to do 5
We'll cover the point in the chat if you guys keep racking up the like button to 100 here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I left off at Grayson. So if you asked your question after Grayson, or you said your username and your start, sit, or trade question after Grayson, he is going to be the next person. Ginger Snap start sit is the name of the comment there. I already got Katz, I already got Zach, I already got Mitchell, already got Rylan, already got Jonathan. You guys should all have questions, but we will continue to give out more here. Okay. Marvin Harrison, Wandale, Sutton, Montgomery, Odunze obviously needs to be in your lineup. I would say, is Harrison the next best one here between Sutton, Harrison, Montgomery, Diggs types? Wandale as well.
Yeah, Harrison would be the highest here, I believe.
And then I'd start Monungai over all these guys too. So I think that's the correct starting lineup that you got there. Ginger Ale. Here comes Mongo. Looking at tight end and flex. Okay, so tight end, I mean, you got to throw Brock Bowers out there for sure. I'm cool going with the double tight end if you need to. It's not a tight end premium, and it's only a half PPR. So if you're just playing the touchdown or something, you could. What do you think, Gadsden or Sutton?
Gadsden or Sutton? I would go Gadsden given the tough matchup for Sutton.
Yeah, I think so as well. The Titans, man, I know it could, like the way the Chargers are kind of wired, it's like maybe it's Ladd that gets the touchdown, maybe it's QJ that gets the big play, but between those 4 every week starters at the pass catcher positions for the Chargers, you just got to throw them out there and hope for the best kind of thing for the most part. Unless Keenan Allen's like, okay, the snaps are going down and that kind of thing. Tony here, 1 quarterback dynasty compete year, worth it for a flex running back.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Jonathan Brooks, not
a nothing
consequential. Third, not consequential. It's worthy straight for Brees.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Brooks is a nothing burger, respectfully.
This is ball knowledge right here from Sarge. G Booski here. Kyle Monungai versus Chase Brown. I think this is the most commonly asked question I've gotten all week. Is Chase Brown versus Kyle Monungai?
It's Monungai.
I have Chase Brown higher, and part of it is the stat I've talked about a couple of times, is that on inside runs, which the Bengals lead the NFL in, the Bears are dead last in football in yards per carry allowed. And Chase Brown has averaged 6.9 yards per carry since Joe Flacco's been the starting quarterback.
Oh, he's great. Counterpoint, the Bears are implied for over 27 points this week. Kyle Monungai's prop on underdog rushing plus receiving touchdowns is at a 0.9x, meaning he's basically expected to score. And his rushing plus receiving yards prop is top 5, I think, on the slate right now. It's over 70.5.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Are we getting both running backs in, putting Odunze into the wide receiver spot and starting Monungai and or Chase Brown over Brian Thomas or Nico Collins?
I'm cool with that.
That's a crazy statement at this point in time.
As the Nico guy, I'm cool with that, knowing the game environment at hand here.
Any more optimism on BTJ knowing that Travis Hunter is not out there?
Optimism, sure. It's a great matchup. It's number 6 easiest matchup in terms of EPA per play against the pass. Big time pass funnel for the Raiders. I'm sure you've actually talked about them as being a good run defense. It's so weird. They're so focused on stopping the run that they just get bullied over the top.
They have Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and all the old coaches.
Yeah, it's such a weird dynamic. And I mean, realistically, Brian Thomas Jr., what's stopping him from being a 30% target share player in a must start smash matchup? Brian Thomas Jr. That's the answer. Brian Thomas Jr. is the one stopping Brian Thomas Jr. from completely crushing, because Brian Thomas Jr. can create 5 yards of separation. But if Brian Thomas Jr. isn't holding on to the football at the catch point, that's a Brian Thomas Jr. issue. And I understand I just said Brian Thomas Jr. a ton.
Yeah, Jonnu's a fine tight end option. I actually debated. I have Colson Loveland in my tight end spot in my home league, and I debated picking up Jonnu and just dropping a bench player. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let me be there for the Loveland breakout potentially. Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, or QJ or Keenan Allen. What do you think here?
So I go with QJ here. Shakir is actually not a bad option.
I would play Shakir over all these guys. Call me crazy.
I mean, the thing with Shakir is you're getting the consistent targets these last couple of weeks. The downside of Shakir. Also. Downside of Shakir is he's been a sub 70% route share player for them. It's close. I like QJ more just because you're getting access to the snaps and an even better matchup. Like with the Chiefs, sure.
I think
it's a great game environment.
Yeah, if you're the QJ whisperer and you're like, when does he have the big play? 10-point favorites against the Titans feels like that's when he has the big play. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I think they're both volatile, but I'll trust the guy getting the more snaps in an easier matchup. Not saying the Chiefs are a bad matchup. The Chiefs are a bad matchup in terms of specifically against wide receivers. But when you're a team like the Bills, you don't really care about, where do they rank against wide receivers? You care what's the game environment. And with Buffalo versus KC, this is a great game environment. So even though the matchup against wide receivers is tougher for KC, because it's Buffalo, because you're getting access to the points, I actually do think it's a good matchup for Shakir. However, with that being said, you're getting a good matchup and a terrible defense for QJ.
Yeah, it is a really bad. Without Jeff Simmons out there and without L'Jarius Sneed out there, dude,
no McCreary either.
Rough.
They traded McCreary at the deadline.
Yeah, they traded McCreary. That's why I'm like, I think Ladd might go for like 35 points today, is because they traded their best cornerback, who was their slot cornerback as well. So,
which I guess we could quickly segue to, because we mentioned a couple players.
We might need to skip to do this at the end, Danny. We have a lot of questions in the bank right now.
I'll throw them in the back for now then, and we'll pull them up literally at the end. Well, how about this? We'll announce them at 101. So that way we get all the site questions done first.
Sure. Yeah, but nobody can tail them then.
Oh, right. Yeah. Fuck. 12:50.
Yeah. We'll get through all the questions, and then we'll get to the stuff here. Okay. Kamani Vidal's in your lineup. Duh. Kyle Menenga's in your lineup. Duh. Drake London in your lineup for sure.
My next highest
Josh Downs, I would say.
Yeah. One of the Colts receivers. I have Downs slightly higher, but I actually have both in my top 40 this week.
Yeah. Goddard on bye. You got to play Jonnu. Flex decision pretty easily. Rico Dowdle there. Not close.
Yeah. You got to go with Rico.
There we go. All right. Panthers 2550. Debating between Henderson, Rico, Bam Knight, and DJ Moore for my flex. Okay. So between those options, especially knowing you got like really, really, really good options otherwise, I'd probably play for the upside in the flex and roll with Trevion over the guaranteed Rico and Bam Knight touches.
I would too. Bam would be the next closest for me, but I do think the upside of Henderson, like, would you be able to look yourself in the mirror if we had a 14 carry, 57 yard, 1 touchdown week from Bam Knight, but Trevion Henderson had a 19 for 135 and 2 touchdown game? You wouldn't be able to look yourself in the mirror. No. Even though you said, okay, process wise, Knight gave me exactly what I needed. Even if that scenario I just pointed for Henderson is about a 20% likelihood of actually happening, that 20% to me is worth taking the upside for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Also, Ginger Snaps, I shot you a start set question already, but yes, we are, I believe, 10 more likes away from 100. And if we get to 100, everybody else who said they wanted a question in the chat will be serviced as such. Sure. J.K. Dobbins versus David Montgomery, Woody Marks. I have Montgomery the highest of this group. I think given the 9.5 or 9-point favorites that the Lions are, you got to feel comfortable that he has a chance to find the end zone. Versus Marks and Dobbins, it's not as good of matchups for them.
Well, it was Montgomery, you said?
Yeah, Montgomery over Marks and Dobbins for me. T. Higgins versus Keenan versus Dobbins versus Marks. I'll take the upside of T. Higgins, honestly.
The upside with a quarterback with an AC joint sprain that's not going to be able to throw to his outside wide receiver.
I still feel good, even that if Browning came in, that T. Higgins gets the targets and he's the best player by far of this group.
I mean, the thing is, even when Browning came in, he didn't get the targets and he wasn't the best player. This is I honestly.
Who would you start here? Who do you like? Gross game environment, Texans, Broncos, and Keenan Allen on 50% of the snaps. Are you seriously not starting T. Higgins here? Even if Flacco's hampered a little bit?
I'm worried about an AC joint sprain more. To reverse jinx it, I will say start T. Higgins because I play against him, but I genuinely think it's going to be a bad game environment for him.
Okay.
It's simply because of Flacco.
I like wrong because I have T. Higgins in my home league, but
I genuinely think we might see another 25 hyper target game from Ja'Marr Chase because Flacco can't throw the ball on the boundary.
I mean, it's possible for sure, but they could also drop some back shoulder stuff in the short
sorry, this one had me.
The facts, yeah. Zach here, Tedero McMillan for Quinshon Judkins. He said, sent Kenneth Walker plus Rome for Puka. Need running back help after Vidal is gone. You can figure that out later, but this is in a vacuum. I think this is a good deal.
Yeah, go get Quinshon. Also, that guy accepted Rome plus Kenneth Walker for Puka. Wow,
yeah, that's insane.
I wish I could have offered that to Zach.
Yeah, he also said that he has Ayuk in his IR too. So you have maybe a replaceable wide receiver for T-Mac. And like T-Mac, as crazy as it sounds, is not giving you game-changing production right now. So you could probably replace his current production. And if you have Vidal, that's just going to upgrade your starting lineup for the next couple of weeks. David Montgomery, Zach Charbonnet. I would prefer David Montgomery. Like I said, 9-point favorites at home. I feel like he's going to find the end zone. Shamir DK versus Zach Charbonnet, very easily Zach Charbonnet for me. None of these other guys are not on bye or injured, so you can't use any of them.
I will say, so DK is semi-interesting, just given the potential game script and the fact that he played 87% of the snaps, has been at 17 targets in the last 2 games. But at the same time, the goal line equity for Charbonnet, I think, has been proven. Anytime they get inside the 5, inside the 10-yard line, he's coming on the field. And I think the Seahawks are still implied for 26 road points in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, they're still implied for a decent amount of points, especially without McLaurin out there. I like the Commanders just haven't looked right as an offense, so I think the Seahawks could dominate time of possession in that game.
Yeah, I have a couple lays out there for tonight or today period. Overall.
Yeah, for sure. We are 3 likes away from 100. Again, appreciate you guys for hitting that like button. It's helping more people find the stream. This is most people on YouTube, I think, that we've had in the stream in a while. 186 on YouTube right now. So, I mean, we need 100 likes, 186 of you in here. And some people are like it on multiple accounts. So I'm sure we should definitely get to the 100 that we need. Brian Thomas Jr. and Dalton Kincaid, Tyler Warren and Keenan Allen. This is an interesting, I think this is probably a fair deal overall. I think the ceiling is the BTJ side, though. I think I kind of like this BTJ side. Although Warren is the best player in the deal.
I think I like the BTJ side. Now, my question would be, do you have any type of nibbles at Keenan Allen? Like, if he has even a 10-point week, are you able to flip him for anything of value? Because if it was, honestly, I mean, what type of wide receiver asset would you need plugged in for Keenan? Probably a top 35-ish level wide receiver rest of the season? Yeah,
like if that was...
To take that side?
Yeah, if that was... who do I have ranked in that area? I'm trying to think where Keenan Allen is ranked for me right now. DK Metcalf is ranked, I think, around him. Maybe a little bit worse than DK Metcalf. I'm trying to think of somebody like...
Yeah, definitely worse than DK. You're not going to get DK thrown in there.
No.
Let me take a look.
My redraft wide receiver ranking.
What if that was...
Ricky Pearsall, Quentin Johnston,
Wandale Robinson,
Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is probably a good name to say.
I mean, if you can get Diggs, that'd be great. I have Diggs higher than that. Yeah, if you can get in that range, absolutely.
But I think in a vacuum, knowing that Kincaid's off the injury report and he's back this week, I feel pretty confident that he'll close he's not going to be as good as Warren, not even close, but I think he'll close the gap a little bit to the point that you want to take the gamble on BTJ there.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. Jay Dollarsign, Daniels and Monungai for Caleb Williams, Donovan Knight, and Tucker Kraft. So clearly the quarterback is in favor of Jaden Daniels. And then, I mean, I just want the Tucker Kraft side, honestly. Tucker Kraft's the best asset in the deal.
Yeah, he is the best asset in the deal. I would also go with the Tucker Kraft side. It looks like we got 114 likes now, so we can easily rip these bonus questions for people. B Master here. Let's keep going. Genty, Montgomery, Chase Brown. Genty.
Oh, it might be close with him and Chase Brown, actually.
It is close for me.
I have Chase Brown higher.
I mean, they're in the flex decision. We might have an opportunity. Let's just get through this part first. Nico and Pittman. Yes, sorry. Pittman has got to be out there. Nico, and then I would play Chase Brown over Quentin Johnston. So
yeah, I would too.
Yeah, we'll get him in there.
Yep, looks good.
CLY not 2123 here. Braylon Allen Brees for Trevion Henderson BTJ. Come on now.
Yeah.
Trevion and BTJ. Trevion might be on the thumbnail of skyrocketing up our rest of season rankings tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me just spoil it. If he has a great game, like
he will
be huge for him. Okay. Wide receivers. Flexes, sorry. Gadsden, McMillan, and
Call me crazy. Panthers without 60% of their offensive linemen. I understand how good Tedero McMillan's been on a week-to-week basis, but I think he's a sit out of these guys.
Do not disagree with you at all. I think I agree that T-Mac has probably got to be on the bench, and maybe I should adjust him in my weekly rankings because I might have him too high as a result. T-Mac, he is behind BTJ. I'm going to move him down a little bit.
Also, Son Loki not wrong. We might have to start ripping because we're giving out more free trade questions.
Yeah. No, we're good. I've been monitoring how many questions we have. We're in okay shape.
Okay.
J.K. Dobbins, T. Higgins, Donovan Knight, Kareem Hunt. I'm rolling Kareem Hunt as my first option here. I think he's just going to get fed. Him and who? Sorry?
Bam.
I think Bam versus T is a discussion for me because of the Flacco injury. I can tie break to Bam for you there.
It's honestly more even pro Bam. Obviously, I expressed the anti-T side, but with Bam, like you couldn't cherry pick a better spot here. Two other unreliable backs in this backfield the no nonsense runner that gets all the goal line touches in a 26 implied point Cardinals offense against the worst defense against the run.
Yeah, no, you pretty much have to go with Bam this week. Like, there's not much that I can say against him. Pittman over Collins here, and then Collins. You gotta go Collins over Henderson and Knight here.
Collins over Henderson and Knight. Collins, Henderson, Knight. I would go Collins over Knight out of that combo. But that's semi. It's like wide receiver 15 versus RB 17 for me this week.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of there's a lot of guys that feel like they're in the same range that you're just going to go wrong with, to be honest. He actually has Menengai on his bench too.
So a couple factors, by the way.
Menengai over all of these guys.
A couple factors. Aaron Rodgers appeared to have injured his throwing hand during warm-up.
Oh, not great.
First. Second, Trevor Lawrence is dealing with an illness. He's still expected to start, but his game status won't be impacted, but he's sick. And Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith expected to split the carries, and the Chiefs are looking for another explosive running back ahead of the trade deadline. So that was all the shit that came in the last 5 minutes.
Maybe I should move, what's his name?
Hunt a little bit down?
Hunt a little bit down, yeah.
He was, for full transparency, I had Hunt at RB 20 this week.
Okay. Bandy and somebody else I sent a start sit question to. I'm trying to catch these up here. Do you want to maybe go through the chat and send out questions while I answer some? Because I just want to make sure that we get these sent out to people.
Okay.
I left off at the sound kernel at 12:25 p.m. if you want to go scrolling through and sending out questions.
And how many am I sending?
Actually, you know what? I'll just do it because I kind of went all over the place.
Yeah. And how many am I? How many are we sending?
I'll send out 5 more. Anybody who asked like well in advance, I'm going to send them out to. Okay. I'll go to the next question and I'll let you handle it so that I can continue doing this. Next question. There we go.
Oh, just read the question off?
Yeah. Z Buff. If you want to just go through that while I'm sending out some more.
Yeah, so at the wide receiver spot, we got Darius Slayton, Keon Coleman, Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, and Mike Igbuka. Honestly, obviously Igbuka's on bye. My highest ranked wide receiver, the others, is actually going to be Christian Watson. He played 56% of the snaps, only 65% of the routes, but on those 65% of the routes, 85 receiving yards, caught that big downfield to play. And honestly, I think at this point, given how LaFleur's tendencies kind of are, him seeing Christian Watson play that well, him having previous trust in Christian Watson, and him being more anti-rookie, I honestly think he's going to play above Matthew Golden. So he's a fringe top 40 wide receiver, volatile play, but definitely upside in this spot given the skill set. And I actually would prefer him over both Darius Slayton and Keon Coleman as well. In terms of the flexes, I do see the consideration being Brashard Smith versus either of those guys. It would be close between Slayton and Brashard Smith. I guess with the report, in a full PPR league, maybe you want to lean the upside of Brashard Smith given the game environment. Maybe he can, scam his way like a Jet McKinnon style against Buffalo this week. And to me, I think that's more upside than Darius Slayton and Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, you would say hypothetically, this great game environment, he's got upside. Keon Coleman, show me your great upside.
Yeah. So who are you rolling with? Sorry, in this question, I was
Brashard and Watson.
Okay. So Watson and Brashard. I maybe would go Slayton over Brashard, but that would be close.
Yeah,
I sent everybody who sent their username and trade/start sit question in 12:30 p.m. or earlier. It was like 8 or 9 questions that I sent out. So double check if you sent in your hey, I want a trade question. This is my username at 12:30 p.m. or earlier. You were caught in that as well. So we should be good. I would like to send out more. I fear we might not have time to get to more if I do. So we'll save those for Monday potentially.
Manungai and Vidal.
Yeah, Vidal would be my preference there.
I'm just assuming one's going to make it.
I would play McConkey over.
Yeah. Him. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh my
insane
God.
team. Insane team.
Yeah. No, we can move to next.
All righty. Flex. T-Mac or Travis Etienne,
T-Mac.
Broncos or Packers defense. Yeah, I'd roll with T-Mac. Although like I said, coming out of the bye, I would expect Liam Cohen to have an emphasis on the run game. And Travis, he's been better for sure than what he showed the previous 3 games. I'm curious to see that Jags backfield for sure. Yeah, I would probably just lean with the targets to T-Mac though in full PPR, and then I would
Packers
go
defense against Carolina.
Packers defense against Tedero McMillan though.
Yeah. Packers defense without 60% of the Carolina offensive line this week, they might get 4 or 5 sacks. Sean Gary's on pace for 18, and Micah Parsons is generating the second most pressures in the league right now.
Yeah,
ugly.
You want to hear some crazy shit? I went back and looked at the current playoff teams, like the true contenders, like the 5 of us, I would say, and the dev teams, sorry, the 6 playoff teams. I went back and looked who streamed not quarterback, sorry, defense and kicker the best. And like,
it's probably me and you.
No, it's me by a decent margin. Mason's actually slightly after me, and then you were third, I believe.
I was gonna say, because like I feel like I've been
19 points per game on average for my for my defense and my kicker.
That's what we call being a full team player. Also, Jesus Christ, I went to go sub somebody out in the Flock Me Silly League and realized nobody on my bench is even playing.
Booty Walker, shout out.
Yo,
I'd probably go with those 2 though, right? Walker and Booty. Are you gonna play Pierce or anything?
I'll go with the upside shot of Pierce. Pittsburgh bottom 10 in defensive EPA per play against the pass, really struggling against outside wide receivers. Alec Pierce quietly 64 receiving yards per game.
Yeah,
they're close. They're both volatile.
Okay.
It's just Atlanta defense versus what's called easier matchup for.
Yeah, it's definitely an easier matchup. I don't disagree with you there. Okay, let me quick double check. How many more questions do we have? It is 12:46 p.m. We still have 9 questions. Okay, we should be okay.
Let's rip. Rip like a Band-Aid, baby.
Darnold. I'll take the rushing floor of Dart, I think there.
I would too. I
do like Darnold as a streamer this week, though.
Yeah. Plus, I'm playing against Dart in the Flock League, so he's going to go off inevitably.
Katz has a start sit question here. Aronde Gadsden, Brock Bowers. I mean, you got to go with Bowers if he's playing, which he is. T-Mac, Gadsden, Jennings. I actually really like Jennings this week, but he also has Collins too. Okay. I mean, I think Nico's my number 1 there, and then it would be between T-Mac and Gadsden. Between T-Mac and Gadsden in the flex, who are you playing there? Keep in mind, he's also starting Rico Dowdle in his running back spot, so he already kind of invested into the Panthers to begin with.
Gadsden.
Yeah, I think Gadsden's just been so good, man. Like, it's so hard not to play the guy.
He's been a 20 points per game, 90+% of the road tight end. Like, I wasn't joking when I said in the skyrocketing video, we could be looking at it 2 weeks from now saying, how is he not tier 1 of his own tight end? Like, that's the usage.
Yeah, it's been insane. Kenneth Walker versus Bill, I guess, would be the closest guy behind him.
Hear me out. So if Kmet was not playing, I actually would have said Loveland. But because he is, I think it's Walker.
Yeah, I'd probably roll with Walker as well.
Yeah.
But I am very interested to see how Kmet and Loveland snap share looks this week.
Agreed.
Walker versus Dowdle, I guess, probably. Going Dowdle there, right?
Yeah. Just
I would love to say it's Walker, but I think it's Dowdle, unfortunately.
You just pick the back. You just pick the back that you actually know has a chance to get a carry when they're inside the 5.
Yeah, no, for sure. Swaggy Dylan in the chat here. Saquon, Cortland Sutton, and Lad McConkey for Jonathan Taylor. Is this too much to give up? It's a 10-team start 7, and keep in mind he said that Walker was on waivers.
So basically,
guys like Walker were on waivers, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable deal. Let's take a look. I mean, Pacheco, Harvey. Godwin.
Like, he'd be giving up Sutton, Ladd, and Saquon, but he'd be getting JT, and he could just pick up Godwin and Harvey. Like, I think I'm just going after JT, man. Having Gibbs, JT, Rice, Odunze, Kraft, Mahomes. Like, I think that's just too tantalizing to. I mean, no, that's not true. What are you saying here? This is the trade that you put on the screen.
No. He's talking about because you said a guy like Kenneth Walker's available.
Okay, well, either way, if you can get something back, like if he'll throw you some kind of upside bench piece back, sure. Like, see if you can counter that. But I'm willing to do this straight. I'm cool going to get JT for this.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
10-team start 7. Hammers are all that matters. You can pick up depth on the waiver wire.
Yeah, you can't overpay for the best player in fantasy right now.
That's why, like, 10-team start 7, you can't.
And that's why, like, people gave fucking Nathan a lot of flack for the deal I made, but like, realistically, what did people expect Puka Nacua to go for? Anything less, and I would have felt like I got robbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, a trade just went out in Tone Setter Truthers. I'm just pushing it.
Just happened.
Here. Bucky Irving, Geno Smith, and Jordan Addison were just sent to Caleb for Joe Burrow.
Ooh, spicy.
Oof, I think that's a fucking hammer of a deal for S Bears getting Joe Burrow for that.
Yeah, I think Caleb's like 5-3 right now, so he's trying to compete a little bit. I think
Also, another trade went down. CJ Stroud got dealt for a singular first-round pick
to
Caleb.
Oh, so he had a plan.
I guess.
Man with a plan.
Yeah, 6 minutes ago. The 2 trades just went through 6 and 3 minutes ago. Crazy.
Yeah, decent. Good thing you noticed because have not been checking my phone.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison versus Gatson versus Horton. You have to pry Marvin Harrison out of my cold dead hands this week. He better have a big fantasy day, or I'll be pissed.
So you're sure you don't want to do Jordan Addison some fat for him?
Absolutely not. Given that he's my worst starter right now, Marvin Harrison will be on my bench next week. Like, why would I trade him?
Kill me. No, I'm kidding. Also, you saw I dropped Riker just because I basically convinced myself I'm like, I don't want to root for fucking 3 Vikings in my lineup this week. So I picked up Matt Prater because
in the matchups I said I would not feel good about starting 3 Vikings if I were Danny.
So I mean, does your fucking spread change now that I'm not?
No, I mean, I still think that you were a slight underdog. I think you were it was like minus 120 that Sammy was favored. I just thought that his lineup didn't have a whole lot of holes. Yours have like very clear weaknesses and very clear strengths, whereas his are all just like pretty decent projections.
But like Spears versus Allen is the same type of uncertainty to me.
Not with the Titans matchup. Even on 50% of the snaps, I think he's going to have 12, 15 fantasy points.
It's like 25% of the overall snaps and 50% of the routes last week.
Yeah. That's Rico easily. Parker Washington versus JMO. I think you got to just take the upside of JMO, given that they're
Woody
like
Marks
28 points.
Woody Marks.
Oh, right. Yes, Woody Marks. I'd still rather have JMO, to be honest.
Give me
Woody. JMO, they keep talking about getting him the ball and how they're failing him. He's about to get like 6 design touches in this game.
Hear me out. You want to hear my bold take? After the week, it's going to be very clear that the best option to go with was Jalen Coker.
That's not going to happen. With opium on your part, but sure. Gridiron God NH here. Flex help both.
Is this Noah?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm
Travis Kelce, Trevion Henderson, and Cortland Sutton.
Henderson.
I think you got to go with. I think you got to go with Kelce with one of these. I think Kelsey's a better play than both of them.
Go Henderson and Kelce then. I don't care.
Yeah, I think I'd go Henderson, Kelce, just given the game environment of that Broncos game. I just don't really want any part of it.
By the way, let me clarify. I obviously care, but like when it's Woody Marks versus Sutton versus Kelce, sure, go Kelce. Like that. Yeah, like, you want the scoring equity there. And what I mean, Kelce is basically like a plus 100 or dead even to score.
Yeah.
So, correct. We love Jalen Coker, Arthur. We do.
Caleb over Sam Darnold, pretty straightforward. Oh, running back was Kyle Menengai versus these guys easily. Tight end, Gadsden, Kittle. We had this discussion already. We did say Gadsden. And then Kittle versus Nico. You going Kittle or you going Nico?
You got to go Nico.
But yeah, I think so too. But you're in. I mean, if this is your lineup, you're in pretty good shape. Let's put it that
way. Go trade a tight end.
Yeah. The sound kernel here. Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf, Brian Thomas Jr. I have Marvin Harrison ranked the highest of this group.
Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. versus DK is close for me.
I have DK the highest because the Colts are like one of the worst defenses in the league against explosive pass plays.
Yeah, and I mentioned that a little bit.
This could be a DK 70-yard touchdown day.
I have my wide receiver 20, but like he's in that tier with like Jalen Waddle, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, BTJ.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about him this week, in my opinion. And then
just put BTJ in the other flex then.
Yeah, we put BTJ over Dowdle and Tracy, I would assume.
Yeah, I would say so. Upside start, 14-man start 7.
PPR too. You get the upside of the receiver catching the ball.
Good combo though. 2 more, looks like it.
Yeah, P Moore here. Start sit question. Bam Knight versus Kareem Hunt. Now, okay, I'm gonna update Kareem Hunt my rankings right now because of this report that he's gonna split carries. Now, last time I trusted one of these reports, I literally benched fucking Kamani Vidal before he had 22 points.
Appreciate you, Patty.
I would say Kareem Hunt, he definitely has to go below Tracy and Henderson now, I think.
Kareem Hunt, I have him at 21.
Yeah, I'm going to move him below ETN, Tracy, Henderson, Bam, I think, too. I would probably prefer. I'll go Kareem Hunt at 20. I'll put him ahead of Dowdle and Walker and Dobbins and those guys just because those guys have pretty bad matchups for the most part. So Kareem Hunt went from my RB 15 to my RB 20 with that Brashard Smith report. And I had Brashard Smith at RB 35, and I'm going to move him up. Who would you rather start with that report? Brashard Smith or Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones I have a lot higher than you, it sounds like.
Okay. Brashard Smith or Tajay Spears?
It's going to be same tier. That is tough. because I really do like me some fucking Tajay Spears. I think I gotta go Spears.
I think I'm going to put Smith one spot ahead of him at 30 and Spears at 31.
They're 29 and 30 for me.
Yeah, but that's kind of where we're at. So I had Smith at 35 and Hunt at 15, and now I have him 20 and 30 respectively. So I tightened the gap up a little bit.
5 minutes and we got to go through our picks.
Yep. I don't have any, so you're good.
I got mine. Real quick though, Patty, do let me know what your pop says because I would love to go with you guys to the Cowboys game.
There you go. DK Metcalf over Kareem Hunt. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. DK Metcalf over Kareem Hunt. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, you're cooking.
Bandy here starts at question. Jordan Mason, Torrey Horton, Johnny Smith.
Not a great
situation.
No Cooper Kupp. I'm going Torrey. I'm going Torrey with no Cooper Kupp on the field.
Is he out officially?
Yeah, he's out.
I thought he was just limited.
Cooper Kupp's out. Jake Bobo's out, and one other wide receiver in their depth room is out.
Oh yeah, Torrey Horton all day.
I'm sorry.
Maybe go again. Beat the waiver wire stuff. Maybe go stash Torrey Horton.
Well, that's what I was saying. I
had waiver Coker. What are you saying?
Well, I had waiver claims for Coker and Horton.
Okay, well, if I were you, I would drop Coker for Horton right now.
He was picked up by Sammy. What am I going to do? But like I knew Kupp was questionable, but he wasn't ruled out when I made that claim. Obviously, with the hindsight, I would have had Horton higher, but I was cool with either of them, and I got one of them. Yeah. Underdog picks, by the way. Colorado Frost.
I'm fast. Yep. Ready? I'll do mine first. Okay. Promo code FSC if you guys want to tail these picks. As always, play $5, get $100. Give me pick for Josh Allen if you guys are new. My picks here, Chase Brown, 50.5 rushing yards. I gave the stat already. 5.44 yards per carry to inside runs. Bengals lead the league in them. Kareem Hunt, still like him to go higher than the 47.5, even though they're going to split touches. I think Kareem Hunt will get most of the carries. Brashard, most of the pony work and that kind of thing. Trevion, this is his week, 73.5 rushing plus receiving yards. He's got to hit this. The Falcons are bottom 10 in pretty much every rushing defense metric. And Tyrone Tracy, I don't like him to score. I have him lower than half a touchdown because he ceded work to Devin Singletary as the goal line back last year. Only 38% of the inside the 5 attempts when he was the starter weeks 5 onward. So those are the picks that I am rolling with. I believe Spicy had a profit boost token when he did mine, and it was like a 16x if you ended up tailing this, if you had a profit boost token. Go ahead.
For sure. Same one that I talked about in the wide receiver tier list video. If you guys watched that when it came out yesterday, Michael Pittman Jr. higher than 53.5 receiving yards, 18 targets, and he's gone higher than this in each of his last 2 games. Very good matchup against outside wide receivers against Pittsburgh. We got Lab McConkey higher than 62.5 receiving yards last month of the season, last 4 games pretty much. 18.6 PPR points per game, over 10 targets per game, 73.5 receiving yards per game. It's clear he's the number 1 option in this offense, and he's also run the 8th most routes in the NFL in that time frame. So we really like him in the spot against Titans. Again, I already mentioned Snead hurt, Ricari traded, no Jeffrey Simmons. We could really see the Chargers put up a ton of numbers against Tennessee this week. Rashid Rice higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. Very, very good game environment. 5 touchdowns in his last 6 games as a Kansas City Chief. And then CeeDee Lamb higher than 15.45 fantasy points. He's been very consistent this year. 5+ catches, 70+ receiving yards in all games he started and finished. However, we haven't really seen that 30, 35, 40-point blow-up week. And this is the game environment for it. Highest over under the slate, 28.5 implied Cowboys points. And I think he punches a touchdown or 2 in this game. So we will take the higher on his fantasy points.
Okay. We have one more question that came in really quick. Puka Nacua, Jaden Daniels, Tony Pollard, Jamar Chase, George Pickens. I mean, I'll just take. Yeah. I think I'll take the Chase.
I love Puka, but they're same tier and you get free Jaden Daniels and George Pickens.
Yeah.
And then I believe is this one. Calvin guy higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns, 27.5 implied Bears points. We look at the projections across the board. It does suggest that Mungai is going to be a workhorse. No Swift in this game. And as we
also
see,
no Roschon, by the way, too.
No Roschon as well. And as we see inside the 5, inside the 10-yard line, we have seen the Bears run the fuck out of the football. So like Mungai to score a touchdown. Tajay Spears, pretty simple, increasing workload. Last week, we finally saw the true breakthrough. And we are hearing reports that Tony Pollard is a trade candidate. So I do think as we get through these next couple of weeks, we're going to see a changing of the guard and potentially 15+ opportunities per game from Tajay Spears. Bam Knight, Cowboys defense, trade right.
Cowboys stock. That's the rationale.
Over 5 yards before carry per attempt against Denver last week, and I think Arizona's going to have their way as well.
Cool. All right. It is 1 p.m. Appreciate you guys. If you guys want some picks for Sunday Night Football, I'm going to be doing those right now as we get into kickoff. So if you guys do want some picks for Commanders and Seahawks, I will be dropping those on the TikTok, the Instagram, and the YouTube Shorts probably within the next hour or so. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Good luck into your matchups, everyone. And hopefully I can get some solace for the Blue Jays absolutely screwing my life up last night and beat Badaki in the Flock League because I really would like to go to 6-3 this week. So I would love to go you guys. 5-4. Yeah, 5-4. Let's get into some playoff position. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Good luck. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon.